Today we are going to talk about graphing a line using another method other than table of values, namely using slope and the y-intercept of the line. We are going to start the lesson with plotting the line y equal to x minus 1 using table of values. So as usual, we have to come up with the table of values. So let's draw the table of values, x and y here, and we have to pick a few points arbitrarily. The best points probably are points like -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Now we have to evaluate function for each of these points. For point -2, we are going to substitute x equal to -2 and evaluate the function. So this becomes 2 times -2 minus 1, which is -4, minus 1, which is -5. For -1, we say 2 times -1 minus 1, which is -2 minus 1, which is -3. For 0, we say 2 times 0 minus 1, which is 0 minus 1, which is -1. For 1, we get 2 times 1 minus 1 is 2 minus 1, which is 1. And for 2, we get 2 times 2 minus 1, which is 4 minus 1, which is 3. If you look at also the table of values, and if you remember from the previous lesson, when x is equal to 0, the y value represents the y-intercept. And if you look at here, it says the y-intercept is -1, and if you look at the equation, the y-intercept is also -1. Now what we are going to do is we are going to plot each one of these points, and then we are going to draw the line going through all of them. When x is -2, y is -5. So it's going to be a point right here. When x is -1, y is -3. It's going to be a point here. When x is 0, y is -1. When x is 0, y is -1, which is here. When x is 1, y is 1. It's going to be a point which is about here. And when x is 2, y is 3, which is going to be a point about here. Now what we are going to do is we are going to draw a line going through the points. As you can see, a line is drawn going through all those 5 points, which is in red. This was the technique of using table of values to plot a line. The next technique for drawing a line is to use the slope and y-intercept of the line. The first thing you must do is, from the equation of the line, you have to find the slope and y-intercept. Just to remind you that the equation of a line in general is y equal mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. When you have the slope and y-intercept, you are going to plot the y-intercept first, and then you're going to look at the slope. If the slope is not in fraction form, what you do is that you are going to write the slope as a fraction divided by 1. Meaning, for instance, if the slope is 3, you know that 3 is the same as 3 over 1. The reason we do that is that this way we know that 3 is going to be the rise and 1 is going to be the run. Now, after you have your slope in fraction form, what you are going to do is that you are going to plot the y-intercept, the point, on the graph. Now that the y-intercept is plotted on the graph, you are going to either go up or down based on the sign of the rise, and left and right based on the sign of run. If rise is positive, go up. Otherwise, go down. If run is positive, then go right. Otherwise, go left. How many points? Depending on rise and run. When you get the second point, just connect this point to the y-intercept and the line is drawn. As an example, consider equation y equal 3x minus 1. We are supposed to plot this line using slope and the y-intercept of the line. First, look at the equation. You can see that the slope, m, is negative 3. But since we want the slope in fraction form, I'm going to write this one as negative 3 over 1. Then the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the number by itself, which has no variable attached to it. So we can say that b is 1. This means that the ordered pair for y-intercept is 0 and 1. So go to your graph and plot the y-intercept point, which is this point. Now, since our rise, which is negative 3, and run is plus 1, we are going to start from y-intercept. Since rise is negative 3, we are going to go down 3 units. 2, 3. And since run is 1, we are going to go to the right 1 unit, and we're going to end up at this point. So we are going to plot a line here, a point here, and the last thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a line going through these 2 points. As you can see, the line in blue is drawn going through the 2 points.